Hi guys, I'm Jesse at Strobepro.com, and today I'm super excited to show you one of our brand new products. It's the XPRO series of studio strobes. Now we carry this strobe in a 400 watt and a 600 watt. In the box, everything's going to be identical. The only difference you're going to see in these strobes is that the power is different. You'll get 200 extra watts in the 600. So let's take a look in the box and get this thing set up. Okay, so inside the box here, let's take a look what we've got. First of all, we've got the strobe right here. We're going to have the 150 watt modeling lamp here. We have the protective glass cover. This one was ordered with a 7-inch reflector. Those are sold separately, but if you buy that, it'll be in the box. And then underneath here, we're going to have the power cable as well. So first things first, let's put the strobe onto the stand. Okay, so to attach the strobe to the stand, first of all, we need to loosen off the tightening lever over on the side here. So we just back this off so it's nice and loose. That's going to allow us to tilt down the spigot, and just make sure we back the fastening knob off about 3/4 of the way. Just enough so that when we put it over top of the spigot, it'll drop right on. Then all we're doing, tighten that down till it's nice and secure. Once that's locked in, we can tighten the other knob right here. So whatever tilt position you want to put it in, just tighten that down and lock it. One of the nice things about this, if this knob or if the lever was in the way, you can push the button and reposition it to wherever you want that. So it's kind of convenient. We're just going to put it horizontally for today. So now you're going to notice that we've got the protection cover on here. First thing we have to do is take that off. And this lever right on the top, this black button, is the release for all modifiers. So the way that it works is this simply pulls back. Once that's pulled back, we can take a grip on the cover, turn it a 1/4 turn counterclockwise, and this is going to pull straight out. All modifiers attach the exact same way. You've got 3 prongs because we use the Bowens mount here, and they just line up right here, 1, 2, 3. So same thing to put it on, straight on, give it a 1/4 turn, it'll lock in, 1/4 turn the other way, it takes it out. So we've got a couple new features on this strobe compared to our other ones. The first is the glass dome, and we're going to install that before we put the modeling lamp in. Whenever we're handling glass or that, either use like gloves, a lint-free cloth, or I'm just using the plastic wrap because we don't want to touch the actual glass parts with our hands. Now on the strobe, you're going to see 3 spring pieces right here. So 1, 2, 3 over there. To put this on, put it around the bottom of 2 of them, and then it's gonna kind of miss the top one. So you just need to push that one down with your finger, and it's gonna lock straight in. Now the UV protection dome is on there. Once we do that, we're gonna take our 150 watt modeling lamp, and again, I'm just using the cover here, so I'm not putting fingerprints on that. Straight in, just like a regular light bulb. And we're just gonna screw that in until it stops. Now we've got the modeling lamp in, the protection cover is on, and we're ready to add our 7-inch reflector or any other modifier. Because we're using the 7-inch reflector and this thing is brand new, the punch is not knocked out of here yet. So all you have to do to take that out, it just bends out. This is full metal, wiggle it around, and then that'll drop out. And that's the umbrella hole if we're going to use an umbrella. So just like the cover, we're going to line up this, and the hole is always going to go to the umbrella mount, which is right in the top here as well. So up, turn it clockwise, and it locks into place. Once you hear that click, you know that it's locked in there. If we were going to put an umbrella in, the way that we do that, we take the umbrella shaft, it's going to slide through the hole first of all, then into the strobe, and it's a little bit stiff when it's new, and you're just going to push that straight through, and if you push it far enough, it's going to come right out the back here. And there's a tension knob or a tension spring in there which will automatically lock the umbrella into position. So take it out, just pull straight out, and you're good. For this demo, we don't really need the umbrella in, but just so you can see how that works. So the last thing that we need to do is just plug in the strobe. Pretty simple, the power outlet and then the receiver just in the back. Plug it straight in and we're good to go. Now if you ever have a fuse blow or anything, we include 2 spares in the box, and those are installed just in the back of the power outlet there. So shouldn't have that happen, but they're there just in case it does. All we got to do, flip the switch, and now we're powered on and ready to go through the custom functions. So we've got the strobe powered on now. The first thing we need to figure out is how are we going to trigger it. The XPRO series has a number of different ways that you can do that. First of all, you're going to see the 6.35 millimeter PC sync port. So if you have an old cable or an old trigger that you want to use, you can plug that right into there. I highly recommend not doing that. We've got better technology now. The other option we have is the slave, and the slave is found right on the top here. This little ball at the top is the sensor, so it's constantly looking for a flash to trigger it. So when I push S1, you're going to see S1 show up on the screen. Any flash is going to trigger this now. It could be your pop-up flash on your camera, it could be a speed light, it could be another strobe. Anything will fire it. If I push it again, we're going to go to S2. Now S2 ignores a pre-flash from a TTL speed light, for example. So TTL speed lights emit one burst to measure the light, and then they fire another burst, which is the actual exposure. With that turned on, the strobe just ignores that pre-burst. Again, probably not the best mode to be using if you're trying to mix this into a system. So we're going to turn both of those off. So by far the best mode, and what this strobe is designed to do, is to use the built-in wireless receiver. To activate that, we push the wireless button up here. Once I push that, you're going to see a couple things happen. Up in the top left-hand corner, you're going to see the wireless symbol that lets us know we're in wireless mode. You're going to see a letter or a number here. In this case, we're in group A, and then we're going to see a channel on the top, which is channel 1. Now, to change those, the only reason we would change them is to match our transmitter, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But let's say we want to put this on group B and channel 3, for example. We're going to go over to the channel and group button. If I push it once, you're going to see that the group starts to flash, and we can adjust that. A, B, C, D, E, F. And once I go past that, it's going to go from 0 all the way up to 9 and then restart. So I'm going to go back. We said we'll put this on group B, for example. I can push the set button in, just this button right here, we're pushing it in. It locks it into place. Now to change the channel, I'm going to hold for 3 seconds and it's going to start blinking. Same thing, we have 32 channels available, so tons of channels. Pick one, it doesn't matter which one, and we're just going to go channel 3, for example. Now when you're adding multiple lights in, you would want to put them each on their own group. So the group can change A, B, C, D, E, no matter how many lights you have, but we're going to keep the channel the same for everything. So just keep that in mind. Group change, channel stays the same. So now that we've got that set, we need to go to our Strobepro XT transmitter, and we're going to power this guy up here. And this happens to be the Nikon version. Right now we have Nikon, Canon, and Sony. We also have Fuji, Panasonic, and Olympus that will be released soon. If you don't have Canon, Nikon, or Sony camera, you can still use this light. The only feature that you're going to lose is the high-speed sync ability. Everything else will still function the same. So you're still going to have full power adjustment. You're just going to lose that ability of high-speed sync. So with this guy on, see, turn the power switch on the side here, turn that on. And now on the screen, we're going to rotate the dial. We're going to go to group B. So that's indicated by this little line right here. So we adjust the dial. Now I'm on B. I need to change the mode. We're shooting in manual mode here, for example. I'm actually just going to turn the other one off so it doesn't confuse us. And go back to B. So we're on B there. Now we have to change our channel up in the top to 3 just to match. So we just hit the channel button over there and rotate the dial to 3. Once it's locked in, we can hit the middle button again, and now we're communicating. So if I want to just test to make sure, I hit the test button on the top, and the strobe is firing now. So to change the power of the strobe from the transmitter, all we're doing, we push the middle button here and rotate the dial. So notice as I'm turning it, it's adjusting on the strobe as well. So I can go all the way down to 1/128th power. And you'll see the little number that pops up on the side here. This just means that we're adjusting the strobe in 1/3 increments. So it's very precise. So you'll see those numbers come up as I flip through the dial. Now another thing you're going to notice is that when I bring the power down, so let's bring this up, we're at half power. If I wanted to normally on another strobe bring the power down, we would have to walk over to it, hit the test button to dump that charge that's stored up. In the Strobepro XPRO series, all we have to do, we just bring the power down, and you're going to see the test button light starts blinking. That's dumping the charge right now in the strobe, and it's doing it internally. So gone are the days where you would have to test fire it and blast the model's eyes out every time you wanted to adjust the power lower. So it's really quick. Once it adjusts down, you'll see it stop blinking. Normally it takes just a couple seconds. You can activate that faster if you just push the test button if you want to, but it takes about 4 seconds just to dump the power out of there. So if we're not using the transmitter, the other knob we're using to control the power is just this guy. So we can always walk to the back of the strobe and do it that way. But just be aware that this setting is not going to transfer to the controller. So when I push the controller again, I'm on 1/28, it's going to set it back to 1/28 automatically. So if you're walking to the back of the strobe frequently, just be aware of that. Just half push the test button and you'll send the power off your transmitter to it. One of the best features about the XPRO series is the new ability for high-speed sync. What this means is now you can take your camera and shoot up to shutter speeds up to 1/8,000th of a second. That allows you to control ambient light, to shoot really fast-moving action. It's a fantastic feature in this new strobe. So to activate that, what we're going to do is just hit the mode button again. On the screen, you're going to see a little H and a kind of a lightning bolt show up there. Once we see that, we know we're in high-speed sync mode. One of the very important things you need to remember about high-speed sync is that you have to be using the XT controller. So right now with Sony, Nikon, Canon, and soon to be Fuji, Olympus, and Panasonic, you need that controller to be able to transmit the high-speed sync signal from your camera to the strobe. Without that, high-speed sync will not be enabled. The other thing to keep in mind here, when I'm adjusting the power, if I go any lower than 1/16th, the light is going to turn off. So the bottom range for high-speed sync is 1/16th of the power. So just keep that in mind when you're shooting. In most situations, you're going to want more power than that anyway, shooting with those faster shutter speeds, because your aperture is going to close down a lot of that light. So that's high-speed sync. We'll move on now to multi-mode. So the last mode to go over is multi-mode, and if we push this again, we're going to go into multi. It'll say multi on the top, and you're going to have two numbers that pop up here. So we're going to have the number of shots, and then we're also going to have the hertz as well. So what we can do to change those is push the set button in once over here, and we can adjust the hertz over to the side, and then we can adjust the frequency over here. So at this power level, it'll let us take 4 shots at 11 hertz, and we can hit the test button and it'll blast those off. So you can shoot up to, I believe it's, if we lower the power here, 128, we can shoot up to 30 shots at 30 hertz if we wanted to there. Now it's gonna blast that off really, really fast. One thing to keep in mind, a lot of people look at multi and they think this is to turn my camera to continuous high and shoot multiple images with the strobe recycling really fast. This mode is not for this. This is if you had, for example, a dancer moving across a stage. It would take multiple shots in one frame. So it would give you the sequence going across, much the same as if you had a skier going off of a jump. It would give you that kind of magazine look where there's 10 frames of them doing a 360 jump or something all in one shot. So that's what this is for. If you're the kind of person that likes to shoot, really fast, continuous high or something, this strobe will keep up with that, and we'll show you how to do that in the custom functions right now. In the custom functions menu here, we've got a couple of settings. Let's take a look at them now. So if I hold the custom function / wireless button for 2 seconds, it's going to start blinking. The first one that you're going to see is speed. Now we have 2 different modes. We have normal mode and then high speed mode. This is if you're using this strobe in extremely fast situations like high speed sports, something like that. We can activate it. One thing to keep in mind is that the color temperature does fluctuate a little bit differently in high speed mode. So you can check the manual at strobepro.com to see exactly how that affects it. So for example, we're just going to turn this on. We're going to go to the next function here. And we can scroll through the functions by just pushing the set button. F2 is a timer delay. So if you want to delay this strobe from firing, we can go all the way up to 30 seconds. Or actually, sorry, not 30 seconds, up to 3 minutes on there. And you would just set that in custom function number 2. We're going to turn that off and go to the next one. Function 3 is a mask mode. This is for customers who would be using these strobes in a studio setting to mask out products. It takes multiple shots. You need multiple strobes to activate this, and we're going to have a separate video on that. So right now we'll leave the mask mode off. And if I push it once more, this has to do with the modeling lamp. You'll see the little symbol there. Now, if you can see my hand over here just to see, normally with this on, what happens when I push the test button, the modeling lamp stays on all the time. If you want a visual indication that the strobe has fired, what we can do is go back into the custom function and we can turn this to off. And what off is going to do is when I fire, it will turn the modeling lamp off and then turn it back on as soon as it's recycled. So you can see, hopefully it's picking it up on the camera, that it's recycling. This thing is so fast though, you might not even see that happening. Again, the recycling speed, even at full power, is less than a second. So for those of you, again, who want to shoot this thing, super high speed, we've activated the custom function. We've turned by holding the custom functions. We're going to just turn this guy off again. And we're going to go back to 1. We're in high speed mode now, okay? So that will allow you, with your transmitter on, and I'm just turning this on again. I'm shooting a Nikon camera right now in high speed mode. So you can see how quickly it's firing. If I turn the beep on, you might be able to hear it a bit more. And it's just going to be constant because it recycles so quickly. We can turn that power up and still see how quickly. I'll just turn the beep off again here. So again, really, really fast. So you're not going to have any problem keeping up in any situation in the studio, and really not any situation anywhere. So feel free to shoot sports with this, anything high speed. The other beauty of the whole Strobepro X Series system is that I can use multiple strobes, I can use speedlights, I can use the X360 as well. So you can add them all into the same group. So if we had, the strobe as a main one, we had a couple speedlights as, background fill or something. One controller does everything, and it's just really awesome to use with the high-speed sync ability in this. So again, this is the XPRO 600. We also have the XPRO 400. One other feature, if I turn this off, it's really nice when I go and turn it back on, you see it saved all of the exact same settings. So whether you're turning it off for a minute or a week, it'll still bring that setting back there for you. So this has been the Strobepro XPRO series, both in 400 and 600 watt versions. Check them out at Strobepro.com. Remember, we'll have more videos coming for the custom functions in this strobe, so stay tuned and we'll see you next time.